Everybody clear. We good. All right, Shalom.
Shalom.
We the Hebrew Israelites coming week in and week out to prophesy the downfall and destruction of America, Babylon, and Great to you so-called Negro, Latinos, Native Americans, that you are the true biblical Israelites. You are the true descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And it's time to repent, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand. We're going to give all praises, honor, and glory to
Yahweh, Bashem, Yahushua, Bashem, Kadash.
Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone. Peace, salutations to the hopeful elect. We are back at it again with another live stream through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. And in this live stream, Lord willing, I hope it can be edifying. And we're going to go into the Hellenization of the Israelites. Okay, so this is what took place upon Israel. And when you get the terms of Greeks, Grecians, neither Jew nor Greek in the scripture in the New Testament, right? When you get these different terms, even certain terms where you see Gentile, we're going to go into a little bit so you can understand of why Israelites are being mentioned as Gentile or heathen, as is mentioned in Second Esdras, or Greeks or Grecians. Okay, why these terms are being put on these people and how that took place. Okay, because the Bible has a vast history to it, so it's not like you can just flip to the book of Matthew or flip to the book of Romans and just say, oh, okay, these Greeks, oh yeah, this represents, as the definition they'll put on it, embraces all nations and people, or the Edomites per se. No, doesn't mean that. Okay, so when you go, if say we just was to take the Apocrypha out the Bible, okay, which gives us the history and prophecy and other things that's mentioned in the scriptures, then we would not have that history of how the Israelites became Hellenized. Once you get to the New Testament and dealing with the Romans, running the Roman captivity and things of that sort, you would just have the Medo-Persian Empire, the captivity that the Israelites were under, and you would jump straight to the Romans. I mean, it would skip a whole history period. Okay, so that's why a lot of people, Christians so-called, get confused of when they jump to the New Testament and they start seeing Gentiles that are granted mercy, grace, and faith, of how this is actually speaking of whom? Israelites. Okay, so without me speaking, I'm done speaking. Tell Jared, hit that precept. What's up, boy? You good?
Gone.
Can I do it?
This is Psalms chapter 19 and verse 7. And it reads, the law of the Lord is perfect, converting the soul. The testimony of the Lord is sure, making wise the simple.
Read it again one more time, book of Shaw.
Gone. This is Psalms 19 and verse 7. The law of the Lord is perfect, converting the soul.
So the law of the Lord is perfect. Now, we know the law was given unto who? The children of Israel. Matter of fact, with me saying that, I want to get a precept real quick. I'm going to go to the book of Psalms. Brothers already should know where I'm going to hit it with that. The book of Psalms, chapter 147. The book of Psalms, chapter 147, verse 19, it says, he showeth his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel. He have not dealt so with any nation, and for his judgments, they have not known them. Praise ye Yahweh. So read that again, brother.
Come. This is Psalms 19 and verse 7. It says, the law of the Lord is perfect, converting the soul.
So the law of the Lord is perfect, right? And we know the law was given to the children of Israel. And what else?
It says, converting the soul.
Converting the soul. Okay, now when we go into, I'll pull it up in the etymology. When we go into this word, convert, right? Convert is from the 1300s. It says a change or turn from one religion to another, right? To turn around, to turn towards, to change, to transform, to convert, or to be what? Won over or win over, so to speak. So when you're dealing with the conversion of the Israelites, you had a lot of Israelites that were what? That was into a lot of the Greekish culture, religion, fashions, so to speak, right? Until what? Until they heard the word, or until the word was preached unto them. You see? And you had a lot of instances like this happening where Apostle Paul was going into different regions where Israelites were, who didn't even know they were Israelites, and heard the word and was like, oh shit. The word just, it lit a spark on them, so to speak. And it was like, this applies to me. You know? And they woke up and they started to believe through faith. Okay? So it says converting the soul. So a lot of Israelites were converted. Can't no heathen be converted to this because it's not for them. Right? They can fake the funk all they want. They can try to act like they believe. Right? They can even try to stand out on the highways and byways with us or whatnot. Right? But eventually, it's going to come where they're just going to say, yeah, you know what? This is not me. It's because it's not in them. They only going to get but so far. Is what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. So to truly believe in this word and the truth and sincerity of Yahweh Bashim Shai, you are going to be an Israelite. So that's why when we tell you so-called Negro Latinos and Native Americans that may speak another tongue, which is another language, or may even have a look of another nation, don't get discouraged with that, right? Don't get discouraged with that of your looks, or you might not have, the typical look of an Israelite, so to speak. You might not know your culture down to a T, or your language because you was brought up in a different fashion or what. So was we. We was Gentiles. Mm-hmm. You see? But we heard the word, and the spark was in us through the Spirit, and the Lord was like, let me put the Spirit in them where they turn back into me. Just in a broader sense, they turn back into me. Mm-hmm. And come up the right way.
Yeah, and I got a precept for you too, brother.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
This is John chapter 7, verse 24.
Yeah.
It says, judge not according to appearance, but judge righteous judgment.
Yeah, so how do you judge righteous judgment? You judge righteous judgment according to the Holy Scriptures. Everything is to be measured by the Holy Scriptures to how you are to make the right judgment. Just like how E in his system today, he has something that you call his law or his penal code or his I think it's like called statutes, mm-hmm. Whatever. If you do a particular crime, he has I'm trying to think of the word, but basically he has something for every crime, and there's like a minimum or mandatory sentence behind that crime. So he has his measuring stick, but so does the Lord. So you're supposed to judge righteous judgment. You see? Can you read it again?
Mm-hmm. Judge not according. John 7 and 24. Judge not according to appearance.
So judge not according to appearance. So when you deal with what was taking place, this does not only deal with looks per se. You had a lot of things going on where Jake was judging people based off of their position, okay, and how they was looking, But that was wicked because even back then, and they even do it today. Jake do it in the world today of how a person may look, so to speak. You even got some guys on, I'll just say this, on a worldly standpoint, you got some guys on Instagram, right? They're called gold diggers, and they play the game with a lot of women, and a lot of them times they'll play like they're bummy, right? They'll play like they're bummy, and then women will be like, oh no, they'll try to hop on certain women and look a certain way, and they're like, no. And the women will be like, they'll try to holler at the woman, and the woman will be like, oh no, I don't want you. Why? Because it's by the way they look. But then they go to a $100,000 vehicle. And then a woman change their mind, they be like, oh, this nigga got money. But what did they do? They judged off of appearance. They did it by way of, this nigga broke. He ain't got no money. I can't talk to this loser type of thing. Mm-hmm. So they realized, oh shit, this nigga got money. And then they changed their whole attitude. But you had this back then going on with Jake, not in that same sense, but Jake, they were treating the poor a certain way. Okay. Mm-hmm. And certain people that had these different statuses, so to speak, they would basically just look down on Jake and treat Jake a certain way from different people of being of a so-called status or class or a certain position, within Israel. So the Lord said, judge not according to appearance. Because why would he say that? Jake was doing a lot of BS, man. So we think Jake can do the BS now? Bro, there's nothing new under the sun.
Okay. I got another precept for you too, brother. What you was going into about basically not being discouraged about your appearance, right? Hey, it's this word that really lets us know who's an Israelite and who's not. You know, this word really reveals the identity of these people out here, man.
Yes, sir.
You know, because our spirit resonates with this book. Not only just seeing the different flavor that our people have amongst these other nations, right? But also look at the curses in Deuteronomy 28. They're not just on us over here on this side of the world. There's Israelites who look like the so-called white man, blonde hair and blue eyes, and they're going through the exact same curses we're going through, right? But they're in another part of the world, or they might be in India somewhere going through the exact same thing we're going through, So that reveals that who the Israelites are. Now I got this precept in Revelations chapter. You want me to share my screen, bro?
Oh yeah. It's up to you, bro. I got you if you do.
I got precept after you, brother.
Okay. All right. Yeah, did you share it yet? There we go. So this Revelation chapter 11 and verse 1, it says, "And there was given me a reed like unto a rod, and the angel stood, saying, Rise and measure the temple of the Most High, and the altar, and them that worship therein." Right now, I got that word for reed, right, which basically goes into a measuring reed, a measuring rod, so like a ruler, right? A ruler. It says here in the Vine's Expository Dictionary, it says a reed, pipe, flute, staff, measuring rod. So it's something that is used to measure, right? And then it says, "Rise and measure the temple of the Most High." Well, who's the temple of the Most High? The Israelites, right? The Israelites are the temple of the Most High. When you actually go into the word temple, it's a place that's been marked off or sectioned off, all right, and deemed to be sacred or holy. That's the Lord's people.
That's right.
The Lord did that with us by making a covenant with us and giving us his law, statutes, and commandments, making us a holy people above all nations upon the earth, right? So the temple of the Most High is the Israelites. So it says, "Rise and measure the temple of the Most High." That reed like unto a rod is the scriptures, right? So you measure the temple of the Most High, the Israelites, by the scriptures, right? So it's through the scriptures we know who particular tribes are prospectively in the end time according to prophecy, right? We know who the Israelites are. We know that we're the Israelites according to prophecies, the curses, right? Hey, we and according to all the different things that's prophesied that we will go through in this time, right? So you can measure even the Israelite foreigners by the scriptures. If they have a zeal of the Most High on them, right? To want to preach the word and call upon the name's Lord, then automatically they're an Israelite. It's as simple as that.
Go ahead.
This is Romans chapter 8 and verse 16. And it says the Spirit itself beareth witness with our spirit that we are the children of the Most High.
There you go. It's the Spirit itself to bear witness with our spirit that we are children of the Most High. You see? I mean, what more do you need us to explain about that? Hey, if you got Israelites that may not, look, so to speak, but they're fervent for this word. They're on the highways and byways doing the work. They believe and they have changed. They have transformed their mind. Man, those are Israelites, man. They call on the name of Yahweh and Yahweh Shai. Those are Israelites. Period.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Period. Yep.
So
Because the heathen's not going to do that. Salaki.
No. Yeah.
The scriptures talk about how the names of Yahweh, Yahweh Shai, is dreadful amongst the heathen.
Yeah. So I'm gonna get this last precept, and I want to jump and start this lesson.
Okay.
So and go in the commentaries, John chapter 7. A lot of brothers are familiar with David Guzik. Okay, and just the back of John chapter 7 verse 24 says, "No righteous judgment can be come to if appearances decide. The iconic figure of justice has a blindfold for this reason. We should never bear in mind that appearance may be deceitful, and therefore with the love that hope of all things, we should be ready to give men the benefit of any doubt or any uncertainty that is in our minds."
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now it goes on to say though, do not judge according to appearance, but judge with righteous judgments. It says they decided that Yahushua appeared to be a sinner, and they appeared to be righteous. They were wrong each time, and they needed to judge with righteous judgment instead of only by appearances. They were wrong every time. They was wrong. They was always trying to trap the Lord up in His words. They was always trying to say this and say that, but this and but that. But the Lord was blameless. Just like the example of how the Lord ate with publicans and sinners. They was looking at him like, oh shit, like you're like, oh, he's of that sort. Why else would he be with them?
Mm-hmm.
But see, Jake having that all high mighty spirit, like they had it figured out. They didn't even have it figured out. They didn't believe on Yahushua himself, who came and told them, look, I'm doing the business of Yahweh, the Heavenly Father. They ain't even believe on him. You see? They ain't believe on him. So they was through right there for real. But to a lot of people, they appeared to be righteous, by certain keeping of the law.
Mm-hmm.
But we know what Jake was doing. A lot of Jake even was doing back then. They was keeping certain of the law, but they wasn't keeping it fully. And they was putting that burden on other Jakes of, you need to do this, you need to do that, yada, yada, yada. But what did Yahushua say? They put a burden on y'all, but they ain't doing it.
Right.
Really, the Lord was on the scene. He was calling out their bullshit.
Yeah.
So they was hurt. Just like you niggas today, y'all hurt. When Great Millstone rebuke you other camps, or even as an individual amongst yourselves. And not too many times you see it, but when Jake get rebuked, and we're talking about the follow type Great Millstone, they be hurt. They buck up and they start to rant and talking about, oh, they this and they that, yada, 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 because y'all be hurt. Y'all want to take responsibility. Y'all want to take accountability. And that's what Jake was doing back then. So when Yahushua came on the scene, and Yahushua already knew. He knew their thoughts. He knew the bullshit they was doing before they can't even say anything. Just as I give you an example when we continue. Just as an example of that woman that committed adultery. And they brought her to his attention. And what did the Lord say? He said, look, and he started writing on the ground, like, look, you know what I mean? Like, hey, whoever didn't, what did he say? Whoever didn't, I think it said,
Let he who is without sin cast the first
cast
stone.
the first stone. Niggas skedaddle. They skedaddle but in their mind it was like, oh yeah, she's in the wrong, which she was, because that's against the law. Adultery is against the law. But they didn't understand his position when he came back forward.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when he had told her, okay, you know, your sin is forgiven,
sin no more.
Sin no more. But in they was like, oh yeah, she in the wrong. We about to, and then, you know, you got to think, you know, perspective wise. Oh, we about to stone this bitch. We about to die right now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But the Lord, like, look, whoever's with no sin, cast the first stone. You know what I'm saying? And they so what? They stacked.
Mm-hmm.
You see? But they was appearing in this way of to be righteous. You know what? Matter of fact, Salakia, before we move on, can somebody get Matthew the 23rd chapter? And let's just sum it up with what I'm basically saying. Matthew the 23rd chapter. Let me see if I can get find the priest where I want you to go.
I'm there.
Okay, so the book of Matthew chapter 23 and oh my goodness. Oh shit.
Yeah.
So start from 1 to 7 and you know what? It's gonna be 2. How about Salakia? Verse 25. You know what? Let's just get the point. Let's go to Matthew chapter 23, verse 25, and you can read to 29. And that'll get an understanding what I'm saying, so we can get to the lesson, man. Oh my goodness.
God, that's what, I was looking through
that's how the spirit works sometimes, though, man.
God, this is Matthew chapter 23 and verse 25, and it reads, "Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! For ye make clean the outside of the cup and of the platter, but within they are full of extortion and excess. Thou blind Pharisee, cleanse first that which is within the cup and platter, that the outside of them may be clean also. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! For ye are like unto whited sepulchres, which indeed appear beautiful outward, but are within full of dead men's bones and of all uncleanliness."
Yeah, so you're appearing to the people as if you good, right? You sound. You got everything figured out, you know? You got it going on. But really, you through.
Mm-hmm.
They was through for real. You see? But it was apparent to the people as if they had it going on. And Yahushua was there calling that bullshit out. Go ahead.
Verse 28 in Matthew chapter 23, it says, "Even so ye also outwardly appear righteous unto men."
See, outwardly you appear righteous. Outwardly you got on everything that the law basically tells you of what to put on, the phylacteries. You got the garment. You got everything on. So to the people you appear of he's a man of the Lord. He's a righteous man. People looking up to the different individuals. You know. Go ahead.
It says, "But within you are full of hypocrisy and iniquity."
Yeah, but within your spirit, for real, you hypocrite. Mm-hmm. You hypocrite, man. You see, you telling people to do these things and do this and do that, but you ain't doing it. You full of iniquity, cause you being wicked for real. Mm-hmm. Different shit that they was doing. Same thing you see today. Go ahead.
Verse 29. "Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! Because ye build the tombs of the prophets and garnish the sepulchres of the righteous, and say, if we had been in the days of our fathers, we would not have been partakers with them in the blood of the prophets."
Go ahead, verse 31.
"Wherefore ye be witnesses unto yourselves that ye are the children of them which killed the prophets."
You know they was hurt. You know they was hurt. He's like, look, you are the children that don't kill the prophets, man. Mm-hmm. You see, you trying to portray like you this and that to the people, but I know you.
Mm-hmm.
I know you. You trying to tell me like I don't know you?
Right.
Do you know who I am? You know what I mean? But see that's the type of shit that Jake was on. You know, but how many times did how should I say, woe into you, hypocrites. You see what I'm saying? Scribes and Pharisees. Now, is this saying all Pharisees was wicked? No. All scribes was wicked? No. It's just mentioning a group of them. You know, enough of them were for him to say that.
Mm-hmm.
But does this mean each and every one? No. Just like, does this mean that each and every Jew neglected or offered Yahushua up to be crucified? No. But that's what these so-called Christians like to try to portray. You know what I'm saying? But go ahead, brother. Y'all, oh, I gotta take this phone call.
Come. The Lord called them. He said woe unto them 4 times.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. So I guess we could probably get into the
Yeah. Let's. Hey, hey, Salakia, you know, hey, things just probably through the spirit. That's how it goes sometimes, man.
and whatever the Lord wants us to bring out is what we bring it out.
All right, so let's dive into the Hellenization of the Israelites, man.
So we got this in a previous video. We could get it again. I took a picture of the Zondervan Bible Dictionary. I don't know if you could see it up here. It's a real good resources for brothers to get, you know, if you don't have it. Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary. Got lots of definitions in there, precepts, you know, photos. But I took a picture here for the word Grecian, right? Now, we're going to get into how did our people become Greeks, Grecians? When the scriptures talk about neither Jew nor Greek,
What's up, man?
so if we go down here to Greece, Grecia, Grecian, right?
Hey, man.
It says down here is the point. It says Grecians were Greek-speaking Jews, folk of the diaspora. The folk of the dispersion. Right, the dispersion is the scattering of the seed of Israel. Right.
Mm-hmm.
It says from the areas predominantly in Greek. Right. It says you know, they give you precepts Acts 6:1, where it talks about the widows of the Grecians were neglected. Acts 6:1, and Acts 9:29. It says Greece is associated with the island groups of Southern Europe. Well, that's the point right there.
All right, man.
Greek-speaking Jew,
Mm-hmm.
right? Greek-speaking Jew. So, and usually when somebody conquers you, guess what? You learn how to speak their language. You're forced to,
That's right.
you know. But hey, our people went out and learned the ways of the Greeks, you know, on purpose, intentionally. So, let me see. So we could get into the book of First Maccabees here, which the word Maccabees means hammer. All right. So this is First Maccabees, chapter 1, and verse 1.
Hey, bro.
Yeah.
What did you just address? I missed it. What was you just addressing?
I was just addressing the Grecians, what the word Grecian means.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the Greeks, the Greek-speaking Jews of the, you know, folk of the dispersion.
Did you go to that definition you put in the chat, or did you just?
Yeah. I went into the definition. Yep.
That one that you posted in the chat and it's like with the scripture highlighted?
Yep, it's on the screen.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I took a picture. I took a picture of it and put it on the screen.
All right. So basically, for the audience, that's what that's going into, Grecian, the Greeks, because a lot of people question when they see neither Jew nor Greek, they say, well, what does that mean? Neither Jew nor Greek. Well, the scriptures say, you know what? Can somebody get that, Bubba Kashaw? Neither Greek nor Jew before we read First Maccabees?
Got you.
I think there's one in Romans. There's one in Galatians as well. One in Galatians, the 3rd chapter. There's one in Romans. I think the 1st chapter, the 16th verse. Because really, it tells you that they're both the same people if the Spirit is dealing with you.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it might take a little bit more time to understand and go into the history that it may help solidify. But I just want to show you real quick. Go to Romans, book of Romans, chapter 1.
All right,
verse 16.
Yep. This is Romans chapter 1 and verse 16. It says, "For I am not ashamed of the gospel of Hamashiach,
Right.
for it is the power of the Most High unto salvation to everyone that believeth, to the Jew first, and also to the Greek."
Go ahead.
You want me to keep going?
Mm-hmm.
Verse 17, "For therein is the righteousness of the Most High revealed from faith to faith, as it is written, the just shall live by faith."
Okay, so I'll just go into that a little bit. It says, can somebody give me the precept where Paul talks about he believed all what the law and the prophets mention, or what the law and the prophets say?
Mm-hmm.
If it comes to your mind. So it says to the Jew first and then to the Greek. Why? Because it was always to deal with the in-house, so to speak, first. Okay? As the prophet said, he was going to go to what? The tent of Judah. Let's see if I can get a precept.
I found it.
Judah, KJV. I want to read this, the precept, the book of Zechariah, 12, verse 7. Yahweh also shall save the tents of Judah first, that the glory of the house of David and the glory of the inhabitants of Jerusalem do not magnify themselves against Judah. So it was already set forth to go to Israel within, so to speak, before they start dealing with the Israel without. Okay? Without the Commonwealth of Israel, etc. Okay, so that's what they went to. They went to the Jews first. The Jews that knew the law. The Jews that was in Jerusalem. Right? And then they had different councils and things like that was taking place. And then what? The Spirit hit Paul as the Lord converted Paul, right, to the right doctrine, to the right truth. And then what did Paul do? He went to the Israelites that were scattered abroad.
Mm-hmm.
To the Gentiles, so to speak, the Israelite foreigners.
Right, that was a part of Paul's office. He was the apostle of the Gentiles.
To magnify himself to the right. Yep. Go ahead, Taziar.
You want me to get to one, or you want me to get the one that you were talking about?
Yeah.
Acts?
Yep.
This is Acts chapter 24 and verse 14. It says,
brothers, I'll be right back.
Come. It says, "But this I confess unto thee, that after the way which they call heresy, so worship I the Most High of my fathers, believing all things which are written in the law and in the prophets."
Oh, believe it. So Paul said, I'm believing all things that were written in the law and the prophets. So is Paul going astray from what the Bible says? Is Paul going astray of what the law says? We read Psalms 19 and 7. Converting the soul. Dealing with Israel, right? The prophets spoke of what? The uplifting of Israel, even sometimes the downfall of Israel, but it was still the Most High dealing with Israel. The downfall of the other nations. It was never talking about the upliftment of the other nations of having the position of Israel. Might be in certain places and instances where they would be lifted up, like in the book of Daniel, right? And have particular periods of rulership, but it was never to ever have the position as the people of the Most High. Never. Never and never will be. Right? The scripture says the joy of the hypocrite is but for a moment. But for a moment. But the scriptures talk about Israel, right? Ruling forever and ever. Right? As we know, we're going to be joint heirs with Yahweh Shai, of Yahweh Shai having a kingdom that will never end. Think Paul didn't know these things, huh? Was Paul oblivious to these different things? No, he wasn't. So stop trying to make Apostle Paul seem like he was crazy, seem like he didn't know what he was talking about, it seemed like he was contrary to what the law and what the prophets say. Because he wasn't. Can you read that over? Go ahead, bro.
This is Acts chapter 24 and verse 14.
And look, for you Christians that watch the video, don't get it twisted up. Oh, he's angry. See, these Israelites, this, is that. No, I'm just passionate about the truth.
Okay.
That's what it is. I'm passionate. Don't get it twisted. Angry is when you take the Bible and you take a false image of our Lord and Savior and you run across the fucking world and kill people if they don't bow down to the fucking image. That's angry. I believe that's hatred, right? I mean, racist is, y'all will say, right? The fuck out of here, man. But people look past that, though. They would see our video and say, oh, he's an angry Israelite. He shouldn't be teaching the Bible. But the devil ran across the whole world or traveled across the whole world with the Bible in his hand and the false image of the Lord and with a sword. But he ain't crazy. He ain't the devil. He don't hate. Man, you crazy. Go ahead, bro. Slock here. Here, man.
This is Acts chapter 24 and verse 14. It says, but this I confess unto thee, that after the way which they call heresy, so worship I the Most High my fathers, believing all things which are written in the law and in the prophets.
Believing all things which is written in the law and the prophets. So Paul, and look, Paul was a Pharisee. Paul knew the law to the T. You see? But he believed what the law said and he believed what the prophet said. He believed everything within that. And we know what prophecy say. Right? He knew what prophecy said. So this whole entering in of, oh yeah, the actual heathen are going to be a part of this thing? No. It ain't happening. But we're going to deal with these points of these Gentiles. You know, these Greeks, these Grecians that's receiving mercy. Or Israelites, point blank period. Whether you receive it or, like the scripture says, whether you hear or whether you forbear. But yeah, I got it. Let's dive into it now.
Okay.
I mean, and sometimes, like, you know, different lessons, you know, and as we go through the spirit and deal with different things, you know, look. And we know Jay got a short attention span sometimes, but that's why we got the point where you can pause the lessons and come back to it at another time. You know? But these things must be addressed. We have to address these things. Hey, shalom to the brother on the comment board. But we must address these things. You know? And if you can stay and build throughout the whole lesson, beautiful. If you can't, you got to come back. That's good too. But the word of the Lord going to go forth. Period.
Okay.
You got it, brother.
Right. This is First Maccabees, chapter 1 and verse 1. It says, and it happened that after that Alexander, son of Philip, the Macedonian, who came out of the land of Chittim, had smitten Darius, king of the Persians and the Medes, that he reigned in his stead the first over Greece.
So we need to ask ourselves, right? Was Alexander the Great? Was he a real individual? Did he exist? And if you say yes, you want to say, well, how do you know that? Because the devil told you? But then you'll say, oh yeah, I believe he existed. The devil told me he's in my history book. But the Bible mentions him as well.
Mm-hmm.
Is not the Bible a history book? Is the Bible not a real book? Oh, but you believe it because the devil put it in our textbooks. But it's in the Bible. The Bible been written before a lot of before these textbooks that we read in our schools today.
Mm-hmm.
It mentions this devil, Alexander. You see?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I got some information on Alexander the Great here also.
Mm-hmm.
Because hey, it was prophesied that the Greeks would take over and have authority in the earth.
Mm-hmm.
It was prophesied
Yes, sir.
long long before it even happened, man.
Yes, sir, brother.
So this is I got this in the once again in the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary. It says Alexander the Great, son of Philip, king of Macedon, and Olympias, and Epirote princess, born in 356 BC. Although not named in the Bible, which he is, when they say not named in the Bible, they're talking about what's considered canonical, right? But the Apocrypha, he's named in the Apocrypha. Um, he is described prophetically in Daniel, the
Mm,
goat.
mm. Let's talk to him. So let's talk to him. So even with y'all taking this history out of the Bible, which is the Apocrypha, which means heading on, which means sent away, you had something called Tazior. I want you to pull this up. Pull up the Bible Destruction Group. Because you had a group of Edomites called the Bible Destruction Group take the Apocrypha out of the Bible because they wanted to hide this different history. And another example is why, because there's multiple reasons, but another example is to say what? Because now when you see we're able to link up why are these people being called Greeks? Why are these people being called Gentiles? Why does it say neither Jew nor Greek? Why is it? Oh, the Apocrypha explains why. Why the Israelites are being called this. You see? But if you take that out, not even Jake, people will be just lost. Right?
Okay.
They would be lost. But even in Daniel, like you said, Daniel mentions Alexander. Or Daniel mentions the Greek Empire. Daniel's the second chapter. Daniel's
Yep.
the eighth chapter. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It mentions this. But you try to wipe out a whole history of dealing with a whole empire.
Mm-hmm.
No. That shit is over with, man.
Okay. It says the he goat.
Mm-hmm.
It says from the west with a notable horn between his eyes, he came against the ram with two horns, which was standing before the river, defeated the ram, and became very great until the great horn was broken, and four notable ones came up from it. And they put here Daniel 8:5 through 8.
Who's the four notable ones?
Right, the four notable ones is Seleucus.
It's four generals, roughly.
Yeah, his four generals. Right, right. Whom he parted his kingdom with when he became sick.
But Salaki, if you know him, elaborate on that, brother.
Yeah, yeah. So you got Seleucus, Cassander, Ptolemy,
How you say it?
Lasameacus.
Yeah, that's his name. Yeah.
Yep, Lasameacus, Cassander, Seleucus, and Ptolemy. Right. So they were, they split the kingdom. And we're gonna read that in Maccabees, but it's this is basically breaking down the prophecy, because the Lord shewed this vision unto Daniel, but it was all symbols, you know. Um, it says the prophecy identifies the ram as kings of Media and Persia. and the goat as the king of Greece, and the great horn being the first king, which that's Alexander the Great. When he fell, four kings arose in his place. Daniel 8, they put Daniel 8, 18 through 22. The historical fulfillment is striking, right? The historical fulfillment is striking because what? Prophecy dictates history. Prophecy dictates history. So whatever the Most High uh, has ordained to happen, and he gives it unto his servants, the prophets, and the prophets bring it unto the people, right? It comes to pass, right? It plays out in history. It says, Alexander led the Greek armies across the Hellespont into Asia Minor in 334 BC, and defeated the Persian forces at the river of Granicus, moving the amazing, moving with amazing rapidity. It says, the goat, the he goat, touched not the ground. That's Daniel's 8 and 5. He again he again met and defeated the Persians at Issus. Turning the south, he moved down the Syrian coast. So all the different places that he basically conquered. You know, so Alexander is mentioned or prophesied about in the book of Daniel. That's the point, really. Um,
Mm-hmm.
oh, and here I have some more information too on Alexander, because, and I'm gonna get a precept. What's it? Rivers. Of Turneth. Because hey, the Lord, he dictates everything, man. He works on the mind of these different rulers to fulfill his will, you know, to fulfill prophecy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I just want to get this precept real quick before I get this information on Alexander. You know, just to get some history to edify different brothers and sisters on, hey, because you gotta understand the history in order to understand the mystery, right?
Mm-hmm.
In particular, the mystery of the Gentiles. You know, because this is a big mystery, even though we're putting this out in front of your face. You know, Proverbs chapter 21 and verse 1. The king's heart is in the hand of the Lord, as the rivers of water, he turneth it whithersoever he will.
Yep.
Right? So the Lord dictates what these different kings do. You know, that's why the scriptures talk about uh causing the uh uh, uh causing these Russians, okay, to think an evil thought, right? The Lord is going to cause him to do that so that he can plot and execute a plan to destroy America, right? So, wanted to grab that. We're gonna grab this here. Um,
And really, really, a lot of nations is gonna be in that spirit of thinking the evil thought. You know,
Time,
of all of them being on the same time of what Russia. A lot of them side with Russia to be like, man, fuck this nigga, man. You know, what
time.
I'm saying? The ones that was Latin with matter of fact, Tazior, grab me. I want to say Habakkuk, the second chapter. Habakkuk chapter. Just a precept to back up the bro, man. The book of Habakkuk chapter 2. Might be able to get it because I might know where it is. I get it. I'm here. The book of Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 5, it says, Yea, also because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire is hell, and his death, and cannot be satisfied. But gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. Shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, Woe to him that increaseth that which is not his. How long unto him that leadeth himself with thick clay? So that's the spirit of the other nations. Is, it's going to turn back and be like, man, yo, man, like, did this? How long he gonna be in rulership? How long he gonna be able to do this, do that, man? How long he gonna be able to make the decisions of our country, man?
Mm-hmm.
Who is this nigga, man? And they look, they be like, look at his country. His country ain't in order. Look at his military. This nigga got Moes. He got the whole transformation, transformer unit over there. You know what I'm saying? His nation through. So how the hell you gonna tell us that what we need to do or what's right from wrong? No, hell no.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna say the time for E is over with.
Yep, it's over with, man.
It's all built through the spirit, though. Go ahead, bro.
Okay.
Hey, I get something. Hold on.
So this is from a website called JewishEncyclopedia.com. Now, just some of these things are from the Talmud, which we don't get into the Talmud. The Talmud, for the most part, is contrary to the scriptures. Even though it might have some historical things in there, but and a lot of these accounts come from the writings of Josephus, which was a Israelite historian. So I'm gonna just get to the point right here. It says when Alexander the Great marched through Palestine in the year 333. Look at that, 333, right? Simon the Just, according to the legend, dressed in his 8 priestly robes, went to Kfar Saba to meet him. Although Josephus states that Alexander himself came to Jerusalem, so we'll go with the account of Josephus because this is what they're taking out of the Talmud, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it says so Alexander himself came to Jerusalem. The legend further declares that as soon as the Macedonian saw the high priest, he descended from his chariot and bowed respectfully before him. When Alexander's courtiers criticized his act, so it was basically like, hey, yo, why are you bowing before this guy, man?
Mm-hmm.
You the king, right? He should be bowing before you. Why you bowing before this guy? It says he replied that it had been intentional, so he wanted to bow, since he had had a vision in which he had seen the high priest who had predicted his victory. Right? So, hey, this was all through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Alexander demanded that the statue of him be placed in a temple. And this is there was actually a particular part of this that I wanted to get, but I guess they don't. I guess I missed it. Right, but it says yeah, there's accounts where it talks about Alexander in his visions he was being led to victory by an angel, and The face of the angel was the face of Simon the just. So when Alexander saw his face, it was the same face of the angel he saw in his dreams. So he basically bowed and showed respect. It says uh, a vision in which he had seen the high priest, right? So he saw him in the vision, and now he was seeing him in real life, who had predicted his victory. Alexander demanded that a statue of himself be placed in the temple, but the high priest explained to him that this was impossible. Right? We ain't about to have your statue in our temple, devil. We ain't worshiping you. Right? It says promising him instead. Now this is a interesting fact too, because this explains um how you have different prophets that have Greek names, right? It says promising him instead that all the sons born of priests in the year should be named Alexander, and that the Seleucidian era should be introduced. This story appears to be identical with Third Maccabees chapter 2, because there is a Third Maccabees. I haven't read it yet. The elder apostle Har actually mentioned the Third Maccabees. It says where Seleucus, um, I'm sorry, Seleucus is mentioned during the administration of Simon the Just. The red heifer is said to have been burnt twice, and he therefore built two wooden bridges from the Temple Mount to the Mount of Olives. Um, and yeah, that's basically the point on there. Alexander the Great was seeing visions of having victory, right? And he saw the high priest within his vision. So the Lord, used the angels to work on his mind, all right, so that under the rule of Alexander the Great, Jake was still able to keep their customs, you know?
Yeah, because Alexander didn't really bother us too much. He didn't really bother us. He
Yep.
let us keep our customs.
hmm Yep. So he let us keep our customs. Yep, and that's the point I wanted to get on that. But that's a little bit of information on Alexander, where he is in prophecy. Daniel's the eighth chapter, also Daniel's the seventh chapter, Daniel's the what is that? The second chapter also. You know, Daniel prophesied of these different um kingdoms coming into power, and Greece is one of them, right? So going back to First Maccabees chapter 1 and verse 2, it says, "And made many wars, and won many strongholds, and slew the kings of the earth,
Mm-hmm.
and went through the ends of the earth, and took spoils of many nations, insomuch that the earth was quiet before him."
Yeah, so when the Greeks were set up, they were set up to be a wrecking force, and this is before the Romans, because Romans is likened to iron. They were set up to be a wrecking force upon the earth to run rapid throughout the earth.
Kind,
Go
kind,
ahead.
kind. It says, insomuch that the earth was quiet before him, whereupon he was exalted, and his heart was lifted up.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when we read in the prophecies, these different kingdoms and kings of these kingdoms, they're referred to as beasts, like we just read about the he goat and the ram. Those are beasts. Now I also got another definition here in Salakia, in the what is it, the Zondervan dictionary for the word beast, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when you look at it, it says a mammal, not man, distinguished from birds and fishes, sometimes also from reptiles. Um, Distinguished from the domesticated animal. But when you get down here, we just get to the point. It says an apocalyptic symbol, right? I believe the word apocalypse means goes back into revealing, or something that's revealing something that's secret, right?
Yeah.
It says an apocalyptic symbol of brute force, sensual, lawless, and God opposing, right? Because hey, at some point in all these different kingdoms that came up, hey, they would oppose the Most High by going against His people,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Well, for the most part, when you're dealing with especially the Greeks, um,
Yeah,
the Romans kind of left us alone, so to speak. They let us keep our ways. Even dealing with the Egyptians, they was on the bullshit.
kind,
The Assyrians. You had the Media Persian Empire. They kind of let us, do our thing for real. You know what I'm saying? With
mm-hmm.
Xerxes and the different kings was rolling. Like the Media Persian let us kind of do what we do. The Greeks up until the how the scripture said the little wicked root
Kind,
Antiochus. you
yep,
know, and we was kind of doing our thing in the Romans, and then you had the Flavian dynasty, and that's dealing with what is it, Titus, Domitian, and I can forget the other one's name. I'll pull it up real quick. It's nothing but a Google search. But
kind.
Flavian dynasty, I can't believe I forgot the other person's name. Flavian. Boom. Pulled it right up. So the Flavian dynasty, I'll read this. Is the Flavian dynasty ruled the Roman Empire between AD 69 and 96 in comparison to the reigns of Vespasian and his two sons, Titus and Domitian. The Flavians rose to power during the Civil War of 69, known as the Year of the Four Emperors, after Galba and Otho died in quick succession. Ventilius became emperor in May of 69. And you know what? Just to add that, that's in the Holy Scriptures. This history right here that is meant, I just read, it's in the Bible, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's in the Bible. you know? But yeah, so the Flavian dynasty, so I just wanted to throw it out there. The Romans did let us, do our thing, keep our ways for a little bit, but then, it came a time of prophecy, so to speak, right?
Kind,
Prophecy as had took place, and where we was took down, where Jerusalem was encompassed, and
kind,
we was besieged, and after the besiegement and everything that took place upon us, they set up a what's that word called? A memorial called the Arch of Titus. And when
yep,
you look at the memorial of Arch of Titus, you can see the different goods and different things being taken out of her temple. So that's basically a big statue or memorial of the destruction upon Jerusalem and our stuff being taken and basically placed into their hands. But go ahead, bro.
yep. Yeah. So hey, and one thing too to harp on too is it says a symbol of brute force,
Mm.
right? So when it talks about the he goat, pushing in all these different directions, Alexander the Great conquering all these different people. When it goes into the four beasts, especially when it comes to the Roman Empire, where it talks about with the having the iron teeth, right? And he stamped the residue thereof. The Romans going through and conquering people in a violent fashion. You know,
Mm.
it also says lawless. Sensual, of course, they don't abide by the laws, statutes, commandments of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, right? And it says sensual. Their whole society, especially the Greeks and the Romans, are it's set up to cater to their flesh, man. It's the same thing we have to deal with today. You know, So yeah, just wanted to get that for that word beast right there. Um, First Maccabees chapter 1 and verse 4. It says, "And he gathered a mighty strong host and ruled over countries and nations and kings who became tributaries unto him. And after these things he fell sick and perceived that he should die. Therefore he called his servants, such as were honorable, and had been brought up with him from his youth, and um, parted his kingdom among them while he was yet alive." So right before he died, he parted his kingdom between these four generals, man. You know, they ruled over different portions of the kingdom, and different locations of the kingdom was under each of these, divided between these four generals. It says, "So Alexander reigned 12 years, then died, and his servants bare rule everyone in his place," right? The different locations of the kingdom. It says, "And after his death, they all put crowns upon themselves. So did their sons after them. Many years and evils were multiplied in the earth." Right. So it says they put crowns on themselves. So they had authority, rulership. Right. It says, "So did their sons after them." So this is where we get the word dynasties.
Yeah.
Right. Dynasties, which we can grab it too. Brother's got anything to add in?
Hold on. Oh.
Right. So this is the word dynasty. It says a race or succession of sovereigns, right? So people who have authority, right? Succession, lineage, basically a lineage of kings, of royalty, right? Of sovereigns from the same line or family governing a country. Um, from the Greek dynastia, power, lordship, sovereignty.
Yeah. So. All right. So when you go back to them ancient customs, even like in these time periods, your like inheritance or kingship will be passed down from son to son.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? It would be son to son. But see, that changed with American Babylon the Great because even no, it changed with the Romans, and then it passed down to American Babylon the Great, where they have set up these different electoral, so to speak. Bro, finish that for me. It's locked.
Con. Hey, like the scriptures say, this last beast with the iron teeth was diverse from all the rest. Let me see. We can grab it real quick.
You said the last beast.
It actually might be in Daniel's chapter 2.
But yeah, he up there. He watches Spider Man, and really don't got a phone because he's sleeping in the living room. I don't know why he's swole because man, they got fewer or.
Okay, yes, and yep. Daniel's chapter 7, verse 23. It says, "Thus he said, the fourth beast shall be the fourth kingdom upon the earth, which shall be diverse from all kingdoms, It shall devour the whole earth. It shall tread it down and break in pieces. Like a beast would, right? That fierceness, right? But it says, which shall be diverse from all other kingdoms. Now, how is it diverse? They don't. Rome didn't have a monarchy. They had a system where they elected their officials or their rulers, for whatever period of time. And this is what America does today.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
That's right, Op. That's right.
So
They
yeah,
had like what we would call today like a senate,
kind.
you know, just like back then it was called ooh shit. We got somebody grab Romans 13, I think verse 11. No, Revelation. That's something in Revelation. Slack Revelation. Revelation. I'm about to quit using this scripture, bro. This
I'm
these
there.
yeah. Through I think it's like 13 and 11. If you know what I'm talking about, the point, get it, hit it.
All right, come. This is Revelation chapter 13 and verse 11. And it says, "And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon."
That's what we wanted. He had
Oh.
two horns like a. Go ahead, Daniela. Salakia.
No, you got it, bro. You got it.
It says he had two horns like a lamb and spake as a dragon. So even back then, like you said, we was talking about the Roman Empire. They had the plebeians and patricians. Now in this day and age, we got what? The Republican Party and the Democratic Party, right?
Yep.
So, and meanwhile, it's like it's creating opposition between two sides of people of them choosing and picking up with this party because I believe in this system of what y'all saying and that we're gonna do, and it's vice versa, right?
Okay.
This is what they speak as a dragon. You see, because literally, it's the not only just dividing the people, but it's putting a mind frame, a mindset out there, so to speak, of this is what I believe, this is what we can conquer, and this is I'm with this resolution, so to speak. So I'm voting for this because that's why people vote. When people hear a message first before they vote, they say, "Let me hear what message you got to say. What is more sweet to my ears? I want that.
Right.
Oh, I believe you're gonna do that. I hope you do that. I'm gonna go with you. I'm gonna take my chance and I'm believing you because what you're saying, I feel that is right, and hopefully you mean what you say and you do what you say.
Right. Right.
So it's a two system party, but it's really the same head at the top.
Okay.
So it says talking about two horns, but they speak as a dragon, but because they come with the peaceful aspects, so Salakia. They both come with the two peaceful aspects of it all.
Mm-hmm.
But Jay doesn't even know. It's the head is the same at the top. And they speak as a dragon.
Mm-hmm.
And the dragon we see this is speaking. Just as we see the image speaking, that dragon is speaking. Like look at Biden. Look at everything that he has pushed through. Look at all the executive orders. Look at all this shit.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But it came peaceable to you. He said, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. I got you. But then when you look, it's like, wait a minute. What did you do? Huh?
Mm-hmm.
Nigga pushing all these wicked decrees forth. This nigga on stage saying, can't even get out a whole speech. But saying this and that, but he's quick to put a pen down and say, oh yeah, well, let's push this through.
Right.
Crazy, right? So I read it again.
Pardon me.
Read it again.
Right. It says
Taziar.
Oh, Tazir.
Revelation. Okay, come. Revelation chapter 13 and verse 11. It says, and I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon.
Yep, had 2 horns like a. So that's what that's going into. You know, almost like that division, the 2 political parties. 2 horns as a lamb, because they're portraying to the world as their 2 opposing forces, but they're not. It's the same agenda.
Mm-hmm.
And that lamb or that dragon, as we can see, was speaking, and you're gonna see it speak more and more as we continue to go on in existence here in Babylon the Great. Even that's coming from these lambs that's these 2 horns that is speaking. But like we said, back then it goes into the plebeians and the patricians. Go ahead, you got it, brother.
Kind. Oh wow. Yeah, I was just looking up the word epiphanies. Manifestation, striking appearance. Yeah. So here we're gonna go back to First Maccabees chapter 1 and verse 7. It says, "So Alexander reigned 12 years and then died, and his servants bare rule everyone in his place. And after his death, they all put crowns upon themselves, so did their sons after them. Many years and evils were multiplied in the earth." And that's what we got, that word dynasty, right? It says a race or succession of sovereigns, right? People who have authority from the same line or family governing a country. It says from the Greek dynastia, power, lordship, sovereignty. From dynastes, ruler, chief, and dynastai, which means to have power, right? So this is basically, in a nutshell, it means a powerful family, or a dynasty. Down here it says hereditary ruler, you know. So going back, it says, and there came out of them a wicked root, Antiochus, surnamed Epiphanes, son of Antiochus the king, who had been an hostage at Rome, and he reigned in the 137th year of the kingdom of the Greeks.
Hey, Salaki. Hey, Salaki, I didn't mean to jump in the middle of that. Hey, what verse you on?
I'm on verse 11 now, where Jake starts to go off.
First Maccabees.
Yep, First Maccabees 11.
Tyler Yard, take over. First Maccabees 1 verse 11.
You said 1 and 11, right?
1 and 11, yep.
Come. It says, in those days went there out of Israel wicked men, who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us. For since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow.
Go ahead.
So this device pleased them well. Then certain of the, verse 13, then certain of the people were so forward herein that they went to the king, who gave them license to do after the ordinances of the heathen.
Mm-hmm. Read down to verse 15.
All right, come on. Verse 14, it says, whereupon they built a place of exercise at Jerusalem according to the customs of the heathen.
Yeah, so what you had Israel doing back then is the Greeks had customs. They had certain ways in how they would operate, and then what Jake did was they basically followed to these customs. So they built a whole basically arena, so to speak, and follow after the practice of the Greeks. So when you go into the word gymnasium, or which goes into the Greek word gymnos, which means naked, and that's how that's the custom how the Greeks was operating. But Israel, taking liking to the customs and going after the way of the customs and dealing with the Greeks, they followed suit. Okay, and they enacted the same way as the Greeks did, because they wanted to be just like them. That's just like almost today in today's sense of influencer or a role model, right? Influencer or a role model. They say, and if you're a young child, boy or girl, depending on how wherever it is, you say, I look up to them. I want to be just like them. I'm gonna do as they do. And they was doing.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah, I got this definition right here because this one of the things that's in our culture is being circumcised on the 8th day. You know, having that part of our penis cut.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
but with these,
So hold on. Let's read one verse and we're gonna get to that. We'll get to back you up. So what Jake did was they bit, as it says again, it says whereupon they built a place of exercise in Jerusalem according to the customs of the heathen. So in our holy land, they built a particular place to do these things as what was being done amongst the heathen. So it's like, so basically like, why even travel far out where they're at or do this and that? Let's just build a place in our home spot. That's just like Jake built a fucking temple or sanctuary of what Jake be doing? Issachar in a lot of the northern kingdom. They built what is them shit called?
a shrine.
Shrines and shit. And they crib.
Yeah, man.
Bro, you know what I'm saying?
Jake is through, man.
Yeah, Jake through. So this is what we did in our holy land. Customs of the heathen. Go ahead, bro. I see you got something up there.
Con. So this is the word for gymnasium. It says a place of exercise from Latin, a school of gymnastics. From Greek, gymnasion, public place where athletic exercise are practiced, gymnastic school. It says in plural, bodily exercise, to exercise or train. It says literally or figuratively. It says literally to train naked, right? From gymnos, which means naked. So when they built a gymnasium, all right, in Jerusalem, Jake was going up in there butt naked, man, to train. There wasn't It wasn't covering their shame, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know.
So we're witnessing the start of the heathenistic mindset or the heathenistic custom Israel is starting to take into themselves. So let's read verse 15, 16, right? First Maccabees verse 15, verse 16. And I want you to jump to verse 28. Okay? After 15 and 16, verse 28. Go ahead, bro.
All right, First Maccabees chapter 1 and verse 15, it says, I'll read 14 over. It says, whereupon they built a place of exercise at Jerusalem according to the customs of the heathen, and made themselves uncircumcised, and forsook the holy covenant, and joined themselves to the heathen, and were sold to do mischief.
Right, go ahead.
Now, when the kingdom was established before Antiochus, it says he thought to reign over Egypt, that he might have the dominion of 2 realms.
Now go ahead, Daniela. Hit that the circumcised issue we was about to deal with since the brother read that. Read verse 15 again and let Daniela make that point.
Come. First Maccabees chapter 1 and verse 15, and made themselves uncircumcised, and forsook the holy covenant, and joined themselves to the heathen, and were sold to do mischief.
Go ahead, brother.
Right. So they made themselves uncircumcised, one spiritually, because they went away from the law, statutes, commandments of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai,
Yes, sir.
right? And then physically, they try to uncircumcise themselves, having already fulfilled the law by being circumcised on the 8th day. They tried to put their foreskin back on their penis so they can be like the Greeks. They could walk up in the gym butt naked and work out, and the Greeks wouldn't look at them. We're like, man, what's up with your penis?
Yeah,
That's the weirdo stuff, man. You know.
that's
But
crazy.
hey, that hey man, hey, them Greeks are some freaks, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So this is the word uh epispasm, right? Which means basically circumcision in reverse.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah,
know.
that's what it's called. Yeah.
I'm gonna read this. I'm gonna read a couple sentences from this. It's from Robert G. Hall. It says, "An uncircumcised male who was not circumcised on the flesh of his foreskin shall be cut off from his people. And he has broken my covenant. So said God to Abraham, establishing the covenant of circumcision, a covenant between me and you and your descendants after you." That's Genesis 17, 10, and verse 14. It says, "For centuries, Jewish boys have regularly been circumcised when they are 8 days old." Genesis 17 and 12. It says, "An unusual challenge to circumcision developed, however, in a Hellenistic period," right? Hellenistic and Roman societies widely practiced public nakedness. They widely practice public nakedness. Hey, when you look at today's society, how these women walk around and how some of these men walk around, they're showing their nakedness with super tight clothing, man.
If they
This,
got any on.
yeah, if they if they got any on, man. This is the modern day Rome, right? The modern day Greece, right? And it's only gonna get even more and more weirder, man. That's why they have these different legislations that they pass to give these alphabet people certain rights, man. Right? And they're gonna keep making laws to make America look more and more like ancient Rome. You
Or,
know?
or, or the Greco-Roman Empire,
Yep. Greco-Roman Empire is perfect term. Yep. Greco-Roman Empire, man. Right? That image of the beast.
Mm-hmm.
You know? It says but they abhorred it's ridiculous. But they abhorred bearing the tip of their penis called the glans. To expose the glands was considered vulgarly humorous. So basically, if you were to walk up in the gymnasium and they saw the head of your penis, they would laugh at you. Which you shouldn't be walking in the gymnasium butt naked anyway.
Yeah, but that also that will put on that will let that's that will be known as an identifier of, oh, he's circumcised, he's an Israelite,
Right,
or he's keeping it custom to Israel, so he's you know what I'm saying?
right.
Like he's following that way. He's not with us, so to speak.
Yeah, it's not one of us.
He's not one of us. Yeah. So, but yeah, go ahead.
It says incident or both. It says this combination of attitudes, as the brother was just saying, could be and often was devastating for circumcised Jews.
Ooh.
Just as
Yeah,
the bro
because
said.
you got to understand that what was taking place back then. Jacob was being persecuted for keeping that way.
Mm-hmm.
That's why.
Mm-hmm.
Jacob's being persecuted. Jacob's being looked at funny. Jacob's probably being treated wrong behind that keeping the ways of the Lord. But further down in the scriptures, we would get into that.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And we'll say that for another lesson.
Kind. It says, enjoying oneself in a Greek gymnasium or Roman bath, where nudity was a
Mm.
de rigueur. I don't know how to say that. It says was a popular and stylish pastime. This is ridiculous, man. It says here politics was discussed and business deals was concluded. Athletic contests and exhibitions were also conducted in nude. So
Yeah. So
you think,
yeah, man. Basically, what you see today, how we have the combines in the NFL, and how you got like workouts and tryouts in the NBA. Yeah,
mm-hmm,
instead of having little the tight shorts and the little jerseys and stuff or whatever, it was just naked. That's all that was.
kind,
You know. Is there any
right? Yeah,
more?
you got the Olympics.
Or the Olympics, right? You got any more on that?
Um, did we get to the?
And if we could hold it off till the next lesson to double up, then that's cool.
Okay, yeah.
Um,
Yeah. This is the definition right here. I was trying to get to the point.
go ahead.
It says consequently, for hundreds of years, some Jews underwent a surgical procedure known as epispasm, an operation that corrected, quotations, corrected a circumcised penis.
Yeah. So basically, to just put that foreskin back on.
Mm-hmm.
And but that's in the scriptures though. That speak on that Jake was doing that. You know.
Mm-hmm.
But bro, I want you to hold that, keep that same tag. So
Kind,
when we go back into this, so we can go straight into this topic.
kind.
Tazi, you are read verse 28 and verse Maccabees.
Come. First Maccabees chapter 1 and verse 28, it says, the land also was moved for the inhabitants thereof, and all the house of Jacob was covered with confusion.
And you can see we talking about this is what we're speaking of right now is confusion. Because Jake wasn't to be doing these things that we're speaking of. You see, this is all idol worship, confusion. Calling on different names of these other deities, confusion. Worshiping or learning the way of the heathen, as the scriptures told us not to do, confusion. You see, these are all ways of confusion. And what do we see today? We see Jake and the monks and the manners are doing all these different things, which are the ways of confusion. But where we at? We in Babylon. We in America, which is called bitter, and we in Babylon, which is what? Confusion.
Mhm.
A place of confusion. The land of confusion. You see? So, it's a lot. Look, I know we was all over the place. You know how the spirit rolls sometimes. we try to jump straight into it, but other things came up to the spirit. Hey, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? But that means, guess what? We can come back with another lesson,
Yeah.
and deal and deal with this, and just jump straight into it through the spirit, Lord willing. Lord
Kind.
willing. You know what I'm saying?
There's a lot of history to get into when you deal with the Bible, man. We could be here for forever going through the history, man.
Hey, look, if this was our job, this was our which is it is our job. But I mean, if we got paid to do this instead of coming to work, we just be doing this.
Yep. We be
You know
getting
what I mean?
paid good money.
We be doing, you know what I'm saying? We be doing this. We wouldn't have to, you know what I'm saying? But we in captivity, so it is what it is.
Kind.
But that's all we got through the spirit. Until next time, Lord willing. Oh, Lord, we got count them all through the spirit, Lord willing. Lord willing's edifying, and then next week we jump right back at y'all with this to finish this topic, of course.
Kind.
We're gonna keep going, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
So,
Kind.
but
Sure.
close this out, y'all.
Hey, yeah. So, hey, with that, we want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Hashem, Yahushai, Hashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone.
Yeah.
All right, that rule well and that taught us this truth. And shalom to you, hopeful elect brothers and sisters that believe in this truth and that fear in the Most High and His Son. So with that, shalom and abad babal.
Shalom, ball.
Ball.